Today on Airborne, it's been another difficult weekend with two high-profile accidents. The Sikorsky Prize may be within reach, and NASA probes the Van Allen radiation belts. I'm Ashley Hale. Welcome to the Tuesday bi-weekly edition of Airborne here on Aero-TV. Aviation author Richard Bach remains in serious but improving condition following his approach to landing accident on Saturday while flying an Amateur Built-Experimental SeaRey Amphib he purchased earlier this year. According to media reports, Richard went down while approaching a grass strip on San Juan Island in Washington State and caught power lines with the gear. The aircraft's impact was considerable, and the bird was found upside down about 2 miles from Friday Harbor. Several of the power poles supporting the lines the aircraft hit were pulled down and a small fire ensued. Bach suffered an unspecified head injury and a broken shoulder. His injuries required his transfer to Seattle, where he's under the care of physicians at Harborview Medical Center. According to the Associated Press, Bach's son James says he has good cognitive functions and is responding to doctors and people around him, although he cannot speak because of a tube down his throat. Bach, 76, is the author of some of the aviation world's favorite books, especially Jonathan Livingston Seagull and Illusions, The Adventures of a Reluctant Messiah. A longtime pilot, Bach has extensive experience in a number of piston and jet-powered aircraft, and he purchased the SeaRey this year after an extensive checkout at the Progressive Aerodyne headquarters in Tavares, Florida. It's unknown how long Bach may remain hospitalized, but his son says hopes are for a continued and swift full recovery. The Hoppers jet team has lost its newest member after the crash of an L39 Albatross jet aircraft Saturday at the 2012 Quad City Airshow in Iowa. The accident occurred at approximately 13:25 local time. The pilot has been identified as Glen A. Smith, 58, of Frisco, Texas. Smith had more than 20 years flying experience, and besides the L-39, he flew a PT-17 Stearman, T-37 Tweet, MiG-17, and a Super Cub. He was also director of the Warbirds Education Foundation that owned the L-39 Albatross. According to Davenport's Assistant Police Chief, Don Schaefer, the aircraft was making a 45-degree bank and failed to recover before impact. The impact was catastrophic. The Hoppers jet team is known most particularly for its outreach to kids. According to the team website, the key to our mission is interacting with the kids at the air shows. Our goal is for kids to gain an appreciation of what these jets are all about and to walk away thinking, I could do that too. All I have to do is work hard in school and think big. The Hoppers jet team is reportedly made up of as many as 5 aircraft, but reports indicate there were only 3 in the air in Iowa. A group of students at the University of Maryland are a little bit closer to claiming the $250,000 Sikorsky Prize. Tom Patton explains.
Students on the Gamera human-powered helicopter team at the University of Maryland's A. James Clark School of Engineering have unofficially satisfied 2 of the 3 requirements that would give them the American Helicopter Society Sikorsky Prize. On Thursday, the Gamera 2 human-powered helicopter unofficially flew for 65 seconds, stayed within a 10-square-meter area, and hovered at an altitude of 2 feet. The flight also establishes new unofficial U.S. and world flight duration records. The flight was accomplished in a revamped Gamera 2 vehicle that includes larger rotors, a more ergonomic cockpit, and a rebuilt transmission for a smoother transfer of the human-generated power. To win the Sikorsky Prize, the team must achieve a height of 3 meters during a flight of at least 60 seconds that stays within the prescribed 10-square-meter area. The Gamera team will work through the week to meet the competition requirements. On Wednesday, the team did attain 8 feet of altitude in a short 25-second flight. The Clark School team has been working to claim the Sikorsky Prize for over a year. They first flew their original Gamera human-powered helicopter in July of 2011 and have made steady improvements of the aircraft since that first flight. The $250,000 prize has gone unclaimed since it was announced in 1980, but the team at Maryland now seems like it's the odds-on favorite. For Airborne, I'm Tom Patton.
You're watching Airborne. In just a moment, NASA launches twins into space.
Redbird Skyport is a multifaceted aviation laboratory charged with developing innovative solutions to the issues facing the industry.
It started out as a vision for a laboratory where we could objectively measure the systems and the processes that we were developing. Being able to put some objective measures behind the anecdotal evidence that we have about the value of motion and the application of this technology is very, very important, because until we can objectively measure it and play that data back, we can't design training systems that make the best use of it.
For more information about Redbird flight simulations, as well as Redbird's new Skyport, visit www.redbirdflightsimulations.com or www.redbirdskyport.com.
Welcome back. If you'd like to suggest a story for Airborne, Aero-TV, our website or podcast, you can send us an email to news-spy@aero-news.net. NASA's Radiation Belt Storm Probes, the first twin spacecraft mission designed to explore our planet's radiation belts, launched into the pre-dawn skies at 04:05 Eastern Time Thursday from Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, Florida. The two satellites, each weighing just less than 1,500 pounds, comprise the first dual spacecraft mission specifically created to investigate this hazardous region of near-Earth space known as the radiation belts. These two belts, named for their discoverer James Van Allen, encircle the planet and are filled with highly charged particles. John Grunsfeld, Associate Administrator for NASA's Science Mission Directorate at headquarters in Washington, D.C., explains, quote, "The information collected from these probes will benefit the public by allowing us to better protect our satellites and understand how space weather affects communications and technologies on Earth." Given the widespread consumer use of portable electronic devices, the FAA is forming a government industry group to study the current policies and procedures aircraft operators use to determine when these devices can be used safely during flight. The government industry group will examine a variety of issues, including the testing methods aircraft operators use to determine which new technologies passengers can safely use aboard aircraft and when they can use them. The group will not consider the airborne use of cell phones for voice communications during flight. As the first step in gathering information for the working group, the FAA is seeking public input on the agency's current PED policies, guidance, and procedures for operators. The request for comments was published in the Federal Register on August 28th, and the public has 60 days to comment. The president of the Allied Pilots Association, which represents the pilots flying for American Airlines, says that both the union and the airline would be better off if a deal was struck between those two parties instead of allowing a judge to throw out the existing contract as part of the company's bankruptcy proceedings. Well, that may be difficult as the two sides aren't currently talking. The Wall Street Journal reports that APA President Keith Wilson noted recently that all of the other unions representing AMR Corporation workers have already reached agreements with the airline, making some concessions but giving them slightly better deals than the airline's original offers. American pilots recently rejected an offer that would have granted pay raises and given them a stake in the company. Now AMR Corporation is back in bankruptcy court seeking to void the pilot's contract. Judge Sean Lane rejected a similar proposal in mid-August because of two specific items which American has addressed in its latest motion. A hearing is scheduled for today. The FAA has established a web page explaining to pilots who may be under investigation by the agency how they can obtain FAA contractor air traffic data related to that investigation. The move was prompted by the recently enacted Pilot's Bill of Rights. The PBR specifies that the individual seeking such government contractor data must send his or her request to the FAA. The request must describe the facility at which such contractor air traffic data are located, and the request must identify the date on which such data were generated. Any request should also include information about the aircraft operation, like the local time of the day, the heading of the aircraft, and its altitude, to increase the chances that the appropriate data can be located, retrieved, preserved, and transmitted in accordance with the requirements of the Pilot's Bill of Rights. It's Tuesday, and that means it's time for our Aero Video of the Week. Today, our video is a peek at a unique new test vehicle, a one-man electric airplane. To find the video, search YouTube for Electric Cri-Cri 4 Engine Airplane. It's become an annual Aero-News feature, and it's almost time to do it again. Each year, after our wall-to-wall coverage of AirVenture at Oshkosh, we take a little time to catch up on some sleep and then reflect on the good, the bad, and the ugly that was AirVenture. It's a package we call the best and worst of Oshkosh Awards. But before we share our thoughts, we want to give you some time to weigh in. For those of you who went to Oshkosh, or maybe you just followed A&N's extensive coverage, we want to know what got your attention, good and bad. What sparked your interest? What worried you? What made you hopeful or did you find intriguing? And what drove you completely nuts? Send us your comments by September 12th and we'll publish the results soon thereafter. You can send your comments to news-by@aero-news.net. Well, that's our program for Tuesday, September 4th. I'm Ashley Hale, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again this Friday with another edition of Airborne.